Good evening. Today is Friday, January 15th. S&P 500 has finally broken out of the range of the last 5 days on bad news that Biden's ambitious stimulus plan may have difficulties passing. So buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. Or maybe the sell-off was because people finally realized that raising the minimum wage to $15 is actually not good for small businesses. It's like the Congress technology complex that Victor keeps talking about, trying to kill whatever is left from small businesses after the pandemic. Speaking of pandemic, right on schedule for Biden's inauguration, all of a sudden the Democrats coming up with ideas that they need to reopen. The latest one was Chicago's mayor calling to reopen up bars and restaurants as quickly as possible. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, but and we no longer have to worry about COVID, and we don't have to stay home to save lives. S&P 500 was down overnight and tried to reverse today around 10:30, rallied as much as 30 points. So there were plenty of opportunities to make money today, but then it sold off again 25 points at the end of the day and closed on the low on Victor's favorite Soji number for the futures, 3750. NASDAQ also failed to close again above 1300 and sold off around 1%. Even Russell 2000 had a rare down day. It was down 1.8%. Even Bitcoin was down today, 10% from the highs of around 40. I guess there is infrastructure in Bitcoin as well, and it needs to make money. It doesn't want people to just keep making money easily. And even Tesla took the infrastructure day break today, frustrating both bulls and bears, and it traded in the range for the last 6 days. So all the calls and put options just expired worthless for all the momentum chasers. Victor, what's your take for today?
There was a plethora of bad news, and apparently that bad news was anticipated by the insiders because there was never a decline of this magnitude on the non-quarterly expiration, nor on the 15th of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very surprising. The announcement that Pfizer was behind the distribution to Europe of its vaccine, that hurt the market. And retail sales were down. And inflation, the sentiment was down. They were worried about inflation. Bonds managed to go up today. But considering everything that happened, they're still in the 168 handle. So that's not, it's up about a point today. The grains held steady. A lot of people are complaining that a certain social media site is taking away followers from all of them. And I mentioned before that can only go so far because Bitcoin, excuse me, Twitter is in a bear market. Hit a high of 55 and now it's 47. So I mean, that apparently a lot of the users of Twitter are moving towards Parler. So there's been a massive shift there. So they're losing a lot of followers, and I guess they'll be left with no conservatives on their site. Will all be progressives. And so the question is, what will happen in the future? We've now gone 5 days without a maximum in the stocks. And yet we're only 2% from the old highs. So we had a healthy decline. It was only 1.2%. That was about how much. The surprising thing was that what led to what signaled the decline was the Nikkei, which was down over 500 points from 26,600 to 26,600 to 26,100. Usually that's very bearish. So there was something up in the firmament overnight that when we spoke last night, the S&P was about to breach 3,700. It got to 3698. Then it went straight down. It didn't have one rally. It rallied from, it never got above 3680. Now we've spoken about the last few days. You've mentioned everything was in a small range.
Right.
And you decried that. You didn't see any trading opportunities because of the small range. But remember, the purpose of markets is to take money from the public and give it to the infrastructure. And after a number of days with a small range, the infrastructure adjusts, and they duplicitly fool you by having a big range, which they had today, which had a 60-point range, whereas the last 4 or 5 days have been 20 to 30-point ranges. So anyone who was adjusting to the 20 to 30-point range lost money. Well, chalk it up to the market's evil nature, the market's ability to fool everyone who's looking for easy money. Now we have a half day of trading tomorrow on Monday.
Monday.
What else do you think?
What else? Today was some fun exuberance news. Bumble, it's a dating app that's designed specifically for women to initiate datings. Dating is going public, filed to go public. And it's just another one in a series of IPOs that are losing money and going public. They seek a valuation of 6 to 8 billion, while their revenue is only 400 million, and they managed to lose 100 million last year. So it's kind of fun that yet another company losing money is going IPO. So to me, that's just another signal of some sort of exuberance in the markets. I don't think they are worth $8 billion because there is really nothing special about them. There's a million dating apps and there is no barrier to entry. The market is saturated. There is no room to growth. So it's just basically exuberance. And also what's interesting is that there is more talk about new coronavirus strains in even UK is closing all of its travel corridors starting Monday. Now they're concerned about new virus coming from Brazil. So there is all this incessant chatter about terrible viruses in Europe while US wants to open up, and nobody is even talking about it, the fact that the virus is always mutating. That's the whole point of a virus, it mutates constantly. There are always new virus strains coming up, but whatever it takes to scare the public, like you say. And of course, there is the $15 minimum wage. Everybody seems to want that, but nobody seemed to be able to answer a simple question. If we could raise the minimum wage to 15, why not do 50? Why not raise everybody not to the middle class, but to the upper middle class? Why, like, we come up with those arbitrary numbers, and why not 50?
That's a good point. So we had the failure of a gigantic stimulus news today, and how many
Right.
times has that brought the market down by 1 or 2%? It's about the 20th time that the stimulus news has caused a market decline.
Right.
And eventually the stimulus will be moderated, and it will they'll have positive stimulus news which always follows, like the night to day, the negative stimulus news.
But it's not going to be easy because there is this huge battle within the Democratic Party. The progressives are actually upset that Biden is proposing 1,400, not 2,000. And they also want much more money. They want 2,000 monthly or quarterly, while the moderate Democrats don't want the minimum wage raised at all. And Biden himself in the past said that to raise the minimum wage to 15, it's going to kill the bill. So I'm not sure how they're going to reconcile those differences between the two wings of the party. Will be interesting to watch, but either way, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon and not as fast as everybody hopes in the first day or week of Biden's administration. Very unlikely.
Well, with those good points, what do you have on tap for the weekend?
For the weekend, just hopefully nothing, chill at home. If the weather is nice, go to the beach. Maybe drive by the Trump's mansion, Trump's palace while it's still in Palm Beach. because in the latest news from locally, Palm Beach County is trying to end Trump's golf course lease after all the Capitol riots. Nobody, I think, in the history of the world has been canceled as hard as Donald Trump is. Between all the social media accounts, all of his business accounts canceled, bank accounts, now all the contracts with the city, now even Palm Beach County, which is a conservative county in a conservative state, still wants to cancel dealings with Trump. It will be interesting to see how it ends up. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm really curious if there is a clause in Trump's contract with all of them, if they can break out of the contract based on the fact that he's allegedly inciting violence. Will be interesting to see if he's going to sue them and who's going to win. Or is this the end of contract law just because we don't like a person? We'll see. Do you have any plans for the weekend?
Yes, it's very cold out in Connecticut, and I'm going to do some vigorous jogging to wash away what happened today.
Yep, and also I was going to ask you before we go about that, all the colors on your Daily Spec website. It's very interesting. We had so many red and yellows in the row. I just put it up on the screen. I wonder if maybe you can run something for us Monday or for the half day and see if there's any significance to that. It seems to me it's a very unusual coincidences of yellows and reds in the row.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate the job that you gave me for the weekend, and I'll try to answer your questions to your satisfaction.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.